Finally today, we are ending things with weather and Nebraska Extension Ag climatologist Al Dutcher. Hope you've had a good week, Al. What are you tracking in the weather?
Well, Troy, yes, I did have a good weekend, and thank you for that. Unfortunately, no sunbathing weather really for much of eastern Nebraska in the last few days. We finally peaked some sun yesterday, but for the most part, we've been stuck in this overcast, gloomy type conditions of periodic showers. And over the week, even though we were seeing very light amounts, we did see some decent accumulations over parts of the state, particularly the southwest, where there was a pretty wide area of 2 to 4 inch rainfall in the northern half of the southwestern corner of the state. And then, of course, the big loser was the southern portion of the Panhandle and extreme northeastern Nebraska. It just seems like we missed out on most of the precipitation. But overall, from the very extreme northeastern corner of the Panhandle, southeastward through central and south central Nebraska, there was a lot of widespread one-punch-inch totals according to the NE-Rain network. So overall, a little bit of everything. We did get that precipitation, but more importantly, huge amount of moisture lifting toward the north, and it looks like we're going to finally start to see some significant moisture across the northern plains. So let's take a look at the upper air models and see what we have in store. Here's that big upper air low. The first piece of energy in that wave last weekend moved to the south of us. This is really pumping up the moisture, and we also have a high pressure block to the southeast, funneling that moisture up around the periphery of that high and intersecting with that low pressure system that's coming in to the Pacific Northwest. So we do see this moisture feed here this morning up through the high plains region, and we'll expect that that will continue as the day progresses. In fact, another piece of energy rolls out as we go through tomorrow morning. So expect to see thunderstorm development on a frequent basis across the western part of the state, and then we'll see some of that slide toward the east. So as we go to tomorrow, you'll see the precipitation trying to break out across the east, and that will start to pivot toward the east as we go into the day, as that low pressure system itself in the upper atmosphere starts to slide across North Dakota. So we're looking at some very significant moisture across the northern Rockies and portions of North Dakota, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of moisture, particularly in the northern Rockies, where we're anywhere from 1 to 3 feet of snow. Now by Tuesday, the system starts to open up and lift toward the Great Lakes, but you'll notice we still have kind of a troughing pattern in the west. So with that low over the Texas Panhandle, that's going to help funnel moisture toward the north to intersect the front that will be driving through the region. And the timing of this front is critical for whether or not we see severe weather in eastern Nebraska, but it looks like a decent chance, at least in Tuesday, for our region. We still keep a slight southwesterly flow. We still have that high pressure blocking in the southeast, so there is going to be some moisture wrap around with it, just not as conducive as what we see earlier in the week, as most of the moisture starts to slip off to the eastern United States. By Thursday, another low pressure system starts to enter into the northern Rockies, and this one also will start to move toward the northern plains. So we're still going to see that moisture fetch up toward the north, and the GFS model at least is showing that we should see a decent outbreak of thunderstorm activity across the central and northern plains. And by Friday, this trough starts to lift toward the Great Lakes. Low pressure still exists at the surface, or is projected to lift the surface in the Oklahoma Panhandle. That will keep that moisture feed toward the north, and we should see a widespread area of scattered shower and thunderstorm activity. All this moisture is expected to pivot toward the Great Lakes region, pretty much bypassing the southeast, but in turn we'll start to turn our winds to a zonal flow, which means cooler conditions in the second half of the week. We'll be back down to well normal to slightly below normal. Looked out the extended, yet another wave is expected to come in early June across the northern Rockies to keep this trend in continuation. High pressure still remains in place over the southeast, and in terms of precipitation with that setup, once again above normal moisture for our region.